Twilight's Nightmare, Chapter 13, Luna's Suspicions. Luna paced in her chambers.
What are you up to now, sister?
Something clearly had happened, and she would not leave an illusion to manage court unless it was necessary, despite how much she might want to. The nobles always managed to sneak things past her sister's mask when it was unsupervised.
One day of this will take years to fix, Tia,
she thought darkly. She lit her horn, reaching out with her magic. It took but a moment for the spell to complete. No, her sister was not in the city. The one advantage from her banishment was she felt like she could be far more liberal with casting her magic. Without the colossal store of magic she was used to, she could restore her magic to full in days, instead of years, for only a small fraction of it. It currently only took an hour's rest to recover the magic used for not sleeping for a week. Despite the fact that she was weaker than before her time on the moon, she felt young, powerful, and very much alive. The citywide detection spell would only take minutes to recover from. This advantage let her do far more to help her ponies, and have more than enough left to have her fun. Unlike her sister, where every expenditure of magic had to be weighed against how long it would take to recover and how much it would delay, increasing the total stockpile. Each hour the illusion was active would take her sister at least a week to recover from. Her sister was spending her magic so comparatively freely, and that had Luna worried. Luna only just sensed the slightest presence in the room with her, the three of them each bearing a hint of her power. A smile crossed her muzzle.
They are getting better,
Luna thought with satisfaction. She turned to regard them, each of them perfect in her eyes, each a creature of her night. Sovereign! Her three Night Guard captains saluted. Luna turned first to her Night-Chosen unicorn.
Report,
Luna commanded. Yes, my sovereign. There are traces of Alicorn's here invisibility magic following a route from the Solar Princess's break room to the third-floor balcony. It is believed she left via her own wing power. She's limited her speed, so no magic traces could be followed to her destination. Next, Luna turned to look at the Night-Chosen Thestral.
report. Yes, my sovereign. We questioned all the ponies that interacted with her until the point we can confirm the illusion was placed. The only thing of note is that there was a special delivery from the Solar Agents. The Solar Princess immediately teleported the report away and called a break only 2 minutes later. As we are not allowed to question the Solar Agents directly, we investigated the method that the report got to the palace. We are confident the report came from Ponyville.
Luna turned her eyes to a too large shadow in the corner, where she could sense her Night-Chosen Earth Pony hid.
We have a detachment in place?
She asked expectantly. Yes, my sovereign. They are in place, watching with enchanted spyglasses from long range to avoid detection.
Good. Keep me informed,
Luna said, dismissing all of them with a wave of her hoof.
Sovereign!
They spoke as one. There was a teleport flash, the motion of wings, and a shift in the shadows. Luna was alone once again.
I shall make more of you, my children.
Luna smiled. She most certainly liked being able to spend her magic more freely. It just took a small fraction of her Alicorn magic to allow her to mix Thestral traits in the other tribes. The rite was elaborate and forever tied the blessed ponies to her. For her Thestrals, she added a bit more Alicorn magic, empowering what they already had. Just being able to feel them at the edge of her mind somewhat made up for how lonely it was in her mental bastion. Her only attempt to get around the seal Celestia had placed on her had produced the Tantibus. It was more of a pet than an eternal companion. Useful, but not what she longed for.
At least I still have the dreams to tend to. Tia, what are you doing?
Luna was tempted to go to Ponyville. If she did, her sister would detect her, and there would be questions.
Better to let my Night-Chosen be my eyes.
She was too worried to shapeshift and go out seeking a tempting stallion or mare to pass the time with. She let out a frustrated growl.
Shining Armor and Cadence are here for their protection. Perhaps I can do something productive and have some sport as well,
she thought. It took a moment to recast the detection spell with the new targets. It was simplicity itself to channel her Thestral magic and step into and become one with the shadows. Looking out from the shadows, Luna observed Shining Armor and Cadence enjoying a simple lunch. As she would not be interrupting anything too personal, Luna emerged from the shadows. Immediately, a powerful dome shield sprang into existence around the married couple. Shining sword was drawn before Cadence jumped to her hooves, startled. The light it radiated, nearly blinding to her shadow-adapted eyes, closed them for a moment. She let them shift back to the disagreeable, day-adapted ones. Luna dipped her head.
My compliments on your reflexes, Prince Consort.
Shining bowed his head in response, returning his blade to its sheath.
Auntie, don't scare us like that! You had me thinking we were under attack. That was the point, dear niece. If this were an attack, if not for your consort, you would be mine for the taking.
Luna said, advancing, licking her lips. Cadence backed up, her wings spread, ready to take flight.
Auntie Luna...
Shining coughed politely. Princess Luna, is there any news on my sister? Luna looked to Shining.
Not yet. There are leads that my night guards are looking into. Celestia is off star knows where, so I can only assume that she's chasing her own leads.
She said.
Telling me nothing again.
Luna did not add that out loud.
If this is not about Twilight, why are you here, Auntie?
Cadence asked, her composure now restored.
One alicorn is missing. Possibly worse.
Luna's gaze hardened, looking straight at Cadence.
And by how you reacted to my arrival, you would be an easy target.
Shining's only reaction was his eyes narrowing slightly. Cadence on the other hoof looked like she might cry. Luna started to circle the Princess of Love.
I intend to train you. Shining armor will not always be by your side, dear Cadence.
I will not leave her side until we know things are safe, Shining declared, misunderstanding what Luna meant. The sadness in Cadence's eyes let Luna know that she took it to mean that he was just immortal.
I know my sister neglected some important things in Twilight's training, and yet, she sent her into battle. How much more did she miss in training her diplomat?
Luna said. Luna directed her thoughts to Cadence's mind.
Have you at least been through your trial? So, we should start with basic defense and what options you have as an alicorn.
Luna said out loud. Cadence discreetly nodded so Shining would not notice. She responded mentally.
The trial of the path. Or, that's how Auntie Celestia explained it afterwards. I'm sure Shining could train me.
Cadence answered Luna's spoken question. Luna raised an eyebrow. Mentally, she messaged,
Indeed? Well, you must have the luck of the stars, if you survive without preparation.
Aloud she said,
He is not an alicorn, else he would be Tia's prince.
She ended teasingly. As Shining shifted, uncomfortably, the mental conversation continued.
I think she was gonna leave it until Shining passed.
Cadence responded with sadness in her eyes.
Does he know?
Luna's eyes flicked to Shining. Cadence shook her head so slightly it was imperceptible to any pony without enhanced senses.
It was one of Queen Chrysalis's assassins. Celestia covered it all up and told me to tell no pony. Not even Shining. Did you know that Twilight has been through her trial as well? No, I was unaware. She never told me. She had terrible nightmares about it, and was scared of my sister for a time.
Shining interrupted them. So, if this is happening, how's it being done? I'm not having you beat my wife bloody like you do your guards.
He's so cute.
Luna said, cutting off the mental connection.
My training works, and those that pass are far stronger for it.
She said to Shining.
I'll be fine.
Cadence responded before Shining could say anything. Luna directed her full attention to Shining, channeling a little alicorn power.
If you wish to be useful, see if you can get any information from the Solar Guard about where my sister is and her objectives.
If there might be a lead about Twilight, then you can bet that they'll tell me, he said before heading out the room.
Did you have to influence him like that, Auntie? It was more efficient. This way, he gets to feel useful, instead of crying every time I make you bleed.
Cadence gulped.
Is there no way I can talk you out of this? Yes, but... I know you wouldn't agree.
Luna's eyes became slitted and full of lust. A stunning bolt hit Luna between the eyes. She blinked a few times, clearing her vision.
No, bad Auntie,
Cadence said, a rolled newspaper held in her aura. Luna had a massive grin on her face.
Top marks on the speed of the flashcast stun spell, only just a passing grade on its power.
Her expression returned to neutral.
You need a better weapon than a newspaper. I will find you one.
The smile returned.
You do know that we're not actually related, right?
She did not even blink when the improvised paper weapon smashed into her muzzle.
Yes, this was the right choice. This is going to be so much fun.
The shadows in the room leapt towards the two mares as Luna teleported them to her selected training field. Luna circled Cadence, watching the most recent gashes in her flank close.
Doing something immediately is always better than doing the perfect thing a moment too late,
she instructed. It had taken hours to get to this stage, where Cadence would reliably notice attacks from her sides or her rear. Strangely, she had no trouble detecting attacks from above or below. She let her eyes drift to the blood coating the stone floor of the windowless chamber as she considered her student's abilities. Cadence was an acceptable combatant, if it was not for the two unforgivable flaws. The first was, she would not fully commit to an attack with intent to harm. The second, she did not deal well with the unexpected. Against a conventional attack she could see coming, she could nail it with a stun bolt or raise a shield in the blink of an eye. She excelled at flash casting low-powered spells.
Twilight would have blasted me or teleported away. You stop to think,
Luna complained.
For Star's sake, you are an alicorn. If something unexpected jumps out at you, just strike it. Or jump aside if you feel like checking to see if it is truly a threat before committing to an attack. Are you ready to try attacking me, dear Cadence?
Luna asked. Cadence nodded, her horn lit, and wings spread.
You know the one rule, yes? No striking with my horn. Good. Then, whenever you are ready.
She leapt with such force the stone cratered under her hooves. With a mighty flap of her wings, Cadence claimed her rightful place in the air. A deliberate shockwave of air magic concealed everything in a cloud of powdered stone. Luna left a copy standing where she was as she retreated into the shadow to watch. A rapid onslaught of stun bolts flew from Cadence's horn. Darts of crystal formed along her feathers during the upstroke of her wings, only to be sent flying at Luna's copy on the overpowered downstroke. She rolled in the air, evading an expected counterattack. She raised a bubble shield around herself, hovering in place, waiting for the dust to settle. The stone floor was shattered and singed. Tens of meter-long crystal darts pierced halfway into the ground. Luna's copy was standing there, unimpressed. Luna stomped her hooves in approval.
Now that is more like it,
Luna said with relish. Cadence looked at her.
Celestia taught me never to use things like that, and you make it sound like it's a good thing. I can understand her teaching you restraint, but to leave you vulnerable, it is almost as if she was leaving you weak, just so she could test Twilight.
Luna looked at the broken ground, considering if that could be true.
No matter. You have gotten to be able to do better than that. Now continue.
After receiving more than a few painful cuts for hesitating, Cadence acted immediately. Her horn flared with a second corona, and she reached out, pressing her hooves against her shield.
Interesting,
Luna thought. Cadence's shield turned to solid crystal and fell from the air. Arcs of energy danced over its surface, reaching out, finding the darts.
What is this?
Luna tried to puzzle out what was going on. Each dart exploded into a fine powder, scattering to fill the room. Then, there was a bright flash. Luna woke up. Okay, that was odd. She didn't remember going to sleep. She reached out to her moon.
4 seconds,
she thought. She had been unaware of her surroundings for 4 seconds. Slowly, her senses started to make sense of things. She was splayed out on the ground as if dropped there. Her ears were bleeding, her body was restoring itself from both heat and a considerable impact, and her eyes were still healing, so she couldn't see. So, she reached out to a nearby shadow and scryed from it. Something pressed against her neck. Looking from the shadow, she could see a blade of crystal in Cadence's aura resting against her neck. She could still not hear, but she could speak.
Well done, Cadence. Well done.
She smiled as she directed more of her alicorn magic to heal her sense of hearing first.
All right.
She only caught the end of what Cadence said.
How did you make that explosion with so little magic?
Luna asked with sincere interest.
A trick that I picked up from full-sitting Twilight. What sort of full-sitting has to deal with things like that?
Luna was incredulous. Cadence laughed, removing the blade from Luna's neck now that the training seemed to be over.
It was from her reading and experiments. Apparently, anything rendered into a fine powder can be made to explode. It's a common risk with storing flour, and I can use it to my advantage with magically charged crystals.
Luna got to her hooves under her and stood, blinking her newly healed eyes.
It seems I may have underestimated you.
Luna offered a shallow bow to Cadence.
My apologies.
Cadence pulled Luna into a hug.
I know you did this because you care, and it has been useful.
Luna returned the hug.
You could use a bath. We both could. Are you offering something? No! Give it a few hundred years. In your dreams. Now that's an idea. You would not. No. I take my duty seriously. I would only do such a thing with your expressed consent.
Luna said somberly before her tone shifted to playful.
But it is fun to tease you.
Luna teleported them both to the royal baths. When Shining Armor caught up to them, they were both relaxing, happily chatting. Cadence styling both their manes and tails.
Did you discover anything, Prince Consort?
Only that Celestia sent a lot of messages to her agents.
So, nothing of any real note. As far as my guards have seen, she has been going around Ponyville talking to ponies. Other than one case of her galloping like her tail was on fire, nothing else happened. Do you think she saw a chicken?
Cadence asked, giggling.
Perhaps that would explain her reaction,
Luna said. So, we know nothing, and you two have been relaxing all day? Cadence's gaze darkened, but before she could speak, Luna did.
Yes, there's nothing like sparring with blade and magic, followed by a nice, relaxing bath.
It's good to see that you're gentler on my wife than your guards. Luna laughed loud and hard.
Oh, 'tis your wife who is the brutal one.
Shining's unimpressed expression did not seem to believe her. Whatever you say, princess. Luna looked between the pair.
Would you two be willing to, out of your own concerns for Twilight's friends, be willing to pay them a visit and see what you find in Ponyville? That sounds like a plan,
Cadence said, smiling. If Twilight's there, we'll find her, Shining promised.
By arranging this, when my sister is away, she cannot deny you.
Luna smiled.
We'll head out there before sunrise tomorrow,
Cadence decreed. We should pack then and get an early night's sleep, Shining said. They both said their farewells and left. Luna barely noticed. She had a lot to think about.
Will this move of mine help Twilight? Tia, what is it with you in leaving our younger kin unprepared?
She spoke into the silent room.
Dear sister, why did you not want me teaching either of them? It only took a few hours to drastically improve Cadence's skills. The things I could have done with years to hone Twilight.
She closed her eyes once again, trying to find Twilight in the dream realm.
Where are you hiding?
Well, it seems like Luna is really damn good at combat. Much better than I thought, but then again, we're talking about Luna here. And also, wow, she is such a tease master. I love that. Anyway, I'd love to give a very special thank you to my teaseful donators. Yoshi Super Saiyan 2, Peter Coulthard, Dash of Evergreen, Dresdon, Dospo, RuneScythe 9852, Courier Crew CI, Rainbow Dash 1990, Dwight Cornell, Gaggy, Secret Moon, Orienpax Kaiju, Starlight Glimmer, David D. Sanchez, Trey, Pokekiller Zach, Soul Dragon, Dak Britton, Joe Pierce E, and Reno. Thank you all very much for watching this video, and I will see you all in the next one.